Final question I've got. We haven't really spoken about Russell Crane and what you remember of Russell Crane. He used to score a lot of goals, didn't he?
He was a friendly old fella too, Russell. And again, he used to play fullback at one time, and it was only all of a sudden one match. I think Peter Dawson was the regular centre forward we had in those days, and Russell got asked if he could play centre forward. Of course, Russell's up front there, wasn't he? Russell's up front. All of a sudden he started scoring goals, didn't he? And before long, come on Rusty, everybody on the stairs and shout there, here comes our Rusty. And Russell become regular centre forward up there, you know. And his father, in those days, used to work in the office where Dudley took over, selling the Sportsman's Guild tickets. I don't know if you knew them or not.
Yeah.
There's Herbie Crane, Len Selms, and another fellow. I know the fellow's face or whatever, I can't think his name now.
Was it somebody James?
Yeah, no, not Len James. It was he helped out in there, but he wasn't one of the promoters of it. No. Anyway, there's this here third fella, and Herbie Crane was saying that didn't walk there, and Russell he got married and moved into this place in Ferndale Rise, which wasn't far from his father in Ditton Walk, you know. And Russell was a father figure to everybody. I remember him telling us, I don't know if he was at the dinner last year up there, when they had that dinner to celebrate their 100 years.
Not at the dinner, I wasn't.
I went up there to that, and I had Russell on my table, funny enough. And he was telling us some tales about his times up United there. And he said, as a boy, he only ever wanted to play for Cambridge United. He said he'd had some of the big boys after him, like I told her, as he started to play for us, he was banging in the goals. That eventually interested some of the big boys, but he was never interested in them. He was then called up to do his national service. He said, I came away from my national service, and the first place that I made the beeline for was up the road here, at Cambridge United. He said, and I asked him, could I still play for them? And of course he said, yeah, they obviously welcomed him back with open arms, you know. And he was a true local man, you know. He's possibly one of the only local man, as that you probably can remember, that wanted to play for his local club and nobody else, you know. And he told us that story on that table this night. I sat and I had Brian Bobbies with me as well. Funny thing was, I saw Brian on Sunday up the ground on the way to the Wembley match again. He lives down in Galston now, doesn't he? And he's looking pretty well for a man of his age, really. Fit and active.
I want to ask you about another player that Bill Leivers mentioned to us that is one of his greats, and that was Ian Hutchison.
Yes he did, Bill did bring Ian Hutchison to the club, yeah. Because that's right, he's on the coach estate going to Burton Albion, and that's who Ian Hutchison, I believe, played for. Because we was without a centre half that day. So who suddenly appeared on the pitch as centre half? Bill Leivers. No, never in all his time at the club had anybody seen Bill in a pair of shorts or in club colours. Never expected that one day they'd see him on the field actually playing for us. And he did. He turned out this day as centre half on there. And I said, that's a bit of a turn up, Bill. Well, so I did enjoy it, so I didn't realise I was there, so I didn't realise how much I could still play, you know. I said, oh, that showed you, mate, didn't it? And then a little while after, he signs on Big Hutch. I didn't know much about Big Hutch himself, but everybody up there always knew that he was going to be a good one. Yeah. And eventually, of course, we sold him off to Chelsea. And then Chelsea brought their first team down to the ground, and as part of the agreement, as with the cup winning, to win the cup that year, beat Leeds United 2-1. So of course they came down that night and gave us, well, what is even now still the club's biggest crowd attendance of 12,000 or so. But then unfortunately we all know what happened to Hutch in later life. Yeah. Whenever the play, you always knew it was time for the players to come out on the field because now, beep beep, boom 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 boom. Yeah, up come the music to the sound of the post-on gallop. And the players would come run out on the field.
Can you remember, Malcolm? We've never got to the bottom of why Coconuts is played and when it started. Have you any ideas on that one, or is it beyond your time as well? Yeah,
again, that stems from apparently, I don't know how it comes about that. Somebody down the town, or somebody up this end rather of the town, had heard of United scoring a goal, an awful shoot right down the town to the Four Lamps as it was in them days. That's just a little island in the middle of the place down there. United won up, they'd come up to the other end here to Marshall's, United won up. All of a sudden somebody started singing, oh, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. And of course, that was one way it stemmed from becoming United's signature thing, Because I used to say to my granddad, what the hell's played that old song for, granddad, old Billy Cotton, as it were, them days, And so it's little things like that even bits today stick in your mind. And that's one piece of music there now. Well, of course things are different these days. They have to walk out holding handbags side by side, don't they, and stand out together. But it's the respect thing, and quite honestly, I think it's a load of cod's on them, because once they're kicked off, they're kicking the hell out of each other, so where the hell does the word respect come into it, They all have to line up you side by side, then walk round in and shake hands with each other, don't they? And especially with a lot of them players, because let's not forget, like Sunday for instance, you had Donaldson playing against, there was a couple of other fellas. Well, don't forget, only last year Donaldson was the Gateshead player. Therefore, when he's shaking hands with this bloke here, that's his own. He's probably just shaking hands with him, couldn't care less with him. Shake hands and look to the next bloke. See, this respect business is out the window, isn't it?
Malcolm, it's been a fantastic pleasure to talk to you this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Alan and I have both loved it.
It's been
Thank you very
absolutely
much.
brilliant.
Very good luck.
Yeah.
With
Thanks
Thanks very much, Malcolm.
Thanks, Alan.